We got burnt out. How else are we feeling?
Happy to see you all.
Happy. Yay. Awesome. So just so you all know, if you have any questions during this conversation, please shout them out, or you can put them in the chat. I have people from my team, my amazing teammates, who will be looking at the chat and answering things there. And then also, just, you know, if I am looking over here, I'm not losing my mind. I'm going to move all of your lovely faces over to my other screen. So now I'm looking at you, just so you don't think that I don't know, I'm doing something totally different on the other screen. Okay, let's jump in. I guess before we dive in, for those of you who don't know me, hello everyone, I'm Leah Rowe. I am the founder of The Perk. And at The Perk, we are a premier leadership and culture development studio. Here is a snapshot of some of the amazing companies that we are so fortunate to work with. And so I spend my days as a certified life leadership and executive coach, a company culture consultant, and also as a fractional chief people and culture officer. And today we are here to talk about vision. Now, why is vision important for you as a leader? I guess before I even get into that, raise your hand if you consider yourself a leader. All of your hands should be raised. Yes, you are all leaders at your organization, in your families, in your community. You are all leaders. And when we work with organizations and teams on their leadership development, we talk about how leadership can seem complex. It can seem nebulous. There's no one exact way to lead. There's no one definition of what it means to be a leader. And so we really need to simplify leadership in order to amplify it. And so the way that we simplify leadership is your job as a leader comes down to two things: vision and culture. So as a leader, it's your job to have and continuously communicate a clear vision of where we're going and why, and also to cultivate a culture to achieve success. And that is a culture that is focused on belonging and results. And although I love talking about culture all day long, we are not here today to focus on culture. We're going to be focusing on the vision piece. So it is possible to have culture without vision. And this is when things are really good. You trust each other, you communicate really well, you're engaged, you have fun, you enjoy going to work. Like, things are good, but there's no vision. So we're not really making any movement. We're not really going anywhere. And I compare this to a rocking chair. You're doing something, you're moving, you're active, but you're not going anywhere. And then it's also possible to have vision without culture. So we know where we're going. We know why we're going there, but we don't trust each other. We don't communicate well. We're not aligned. Maybe it's toxic. Maybe there's a lot of burnout. And so you have this great vision, but you don't have the culture. And I compare this to those strongman competitions, you know, where it's like, you have like the guys that have the belt around them, or women, men and women, who have the belts around them and they're like pulling the truck. Have you ever seen that? So it's like you're pulling and it's so tense and you're making some movement forward, but it is so tense. That's what vision without culture is. And then when you have vision and culture together, that is how you make progress. That is how you succeed. So when you have culture without vision, it feels good, but it's aimless. When you have vision without culture, it's pure friction. And when you have vision and culture together, that is how you make progress. That is how you achieve success. So tell me, I want to hear from all of you, what does it mean to have a vision? And I'm not talking about like seances or like you see a ghost or something. I'm talking about in a company. What does it mean to have a vision? Don't be shy.
A long-term plan.
A long-term plan. Mm-hmm.
Direction.
Direction.
Clarity.
Clarity. What else?
Leah, in the chat, we have a couple, a clear goal of where you want to go, and then shared goals and objectives and purpose.
Nice job, everyone. Yes, so a vision, it is a clear definition of success. It is what you want to happen and why you want it to happen. So your vision, that is the future state that will exist after you've achieved your goals. So think about it like this. It's like when you're driving on a road Your vision is the mountain that you are driving towards. It's your clear definition of success. It's where we are headed and why we are headed there. What is important about having a vision? Team, what's important about having a vision? No right or wrong answers.
Buy-in from your team.
What was that?
Buy-in from your team.
Buy-in? Mm-hmm.
Well, I just think it sets the direction for the organization too.
Sets the direction. Yep.
I think it makes everyone feel confident in the plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So how many of you have kids? A lot of you. Great. So this is Maisie. She's older now, but she's still just as stinking cute. And so, you know, when you have kids and you can strap them in the back of the car and you start driving. And so Maisie is 15 months. Our other daughter, Betty, is 4.5. And every time we get in the car and we strap her in and we start driving, she says, where are we going? Where are we going? Why? And so it has struck me that from a very young age, we as humans, we love to know the direction that we're going. We want to know where we're going. We want to know why we're going there. And what's nice about having kids is you can just strap them in the back and they have to go with you, right? Like they are literally in like straight jackets, basically in the back. They have to go wherever you want to go. And for whatever reason, why you want to go there. But your teammates have a choice. You cannot strap them into your car and force them to go with you. They are adults. They have a choice. And the thing about teammates and like working on a team is they're not just along for the ride. Like my kids, like, yes, they can yell and throw things in the back, but ultimately, like we are going where I want to go and for the reasons that I want to go there. Your team, on the other hand, it's kind of like you're in the Flintstones car. Does anyone remember the Flintstones? Okay. So how did they make their cars go?
Feet.
With their feet. How did they make their cars stop?
Feet.
They put their feet down, right? So when you're on a team and you're driving towards this mountain, you are in a Flintstones car. Everyone who's in that car, their presence affects the ride. So your team, they're either clear on where we're going and why, and they're helping you move that car forward. They are paddling their feet along with you. You are going straight, you are going fast. Or people don't know why we're going there. We don't know where we're going. And so they're putting their feet down. They're creating tension, they're stalling progress. And a lot of times they might not even realize that they are stalling progress because they don't understand what the vision actually is. So your job as a leader, it's your job to create and communicate a clear vision of where we're going and why, and not just the big company vision. You also need to have a vision for the year, a vision for the next decade, a vision for this meeting, a vision for this project, a vision for an individual employee, maybe their career development. So when we're talking about vision, it's not just the big company vision. And so when we work with teams on creating vision, we break it down into a 4-step framework. And we're going to focus on the first 3 steps today. And so the steps are: first, create a clear and compelling vision. Second, communicate the vision. Third, connect your team to the vision. And then the 4th is communicate expectations to achieve the vision. So let's talk about creating a clear and compelling vision. So we work with a lot of different companies, a lot of different industries. And one of the industries, I guess you could call it, that we work with is venture capital backed high growth startups. And so these are some of the founders that we work with. And I asked all of them for their advice on creating and communicating vision, because they are vision experts, in my opinion. They have to have a vision for a company before they even have their first employee. They have to have a vision before they can even prove that it's going to work. And not only do they have to have that vision, they have to sell that vision. They have to sell it to investors, again, before they've even proved the concept. So they have to convince investors, they have to sell their vision in order to get that money. They have to sell their vision in order to get their first employees to join them before they can prove if it even works. So these people are vision experts. And I asked them for their advice, and they had all these different things to say, but all of them started with, you have to make your vision clear and you have to make it compelling. So let's break that down. Let's break down clear and compelling. So I want you to think of a time in your professional life when you were working without a clear vision. It was not clear where we were going or why we were going there. It could be for the whole company, it could be for a project. And tell me, what was that like for you?
Mass confusion, then frustration.
Mass confusion, and frustration.
Eventually frustration, inevitably frustration.
Mhm.
We,
What else?
I think there's a lot of wasted effort.
Mm,
Like when you think about not having a clear vision, it's like you're kind of going in like all directions instead of in like a straight path forward.
mhm.
Spend a lot of energy.
and I think that's true for the internal departments too, right? Everybody's kind of going in their own direction and leads to lack of communication, and everybody kind of at some point or another just kind of throws their hands up like, what the hell are we doing here? Right?
Mhm. Yeah.
When you have a leader who says, I'll know it when I see it, or what we like to call bring me a rock. Nope, not that rock, bring me another rock.
What does that feel like for you?
Frustrating.
I had an experience recently where I'm a part of this group and I come to our monthly session and everyone's name tags has stickers on it and mine doesn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are all these stickers? And then it was explained to us that the leader of this group had decided, without making his vision clear, of what he wanted all of us to be doing on a monthly basis, but he never explained that. And so he gave everyone stickers to reward them. And I totally disengaged. Like I shut down the entire meeting because he had never clearly stated his vision of what he expected us to be doing on a monthly basis. And I think I'm still getting over it, to be honest. I mean, I'm like an overachiever. So to like show up and not have stickers on my name tag was very disheartening. Dan, how about for you? I saw you unmute.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just don't enjoy when I work hard on something for weeks or months and then realize that it really wasn't, it's not important anymore. That's like not what we're working on. You know, it wasn't like communicated. It's like my personality to see something through, and a lot of companies like change directions pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Troy, were you going to say something? I saw you unmute.
I was, but I was going to save it.
Love it. Yeah, so it doesn't feel good, right? When we're not clear on where we're going and why, it doesn't feel good. So a clear vision helps people progress in the right direction. It helps people be inspired and engaged. It helps your team to be able to work autonomously. They can make better decisions and faster because they understand the big vision. They understand the big picture. They know where we're going. And so everyone can then achieve the right goals. You work on the right things and you achieve the right stuff. So when you don't have clarity, so we work with a lot of teams on trust and the behaviors that build trust and the behaviors that break trust. And clarity is a massive trust builder. And when you have a lack of clarity, it breaks trust all over the place. So when you have a lack of clarity in anything, it erodes trust, it increases friction. Our friends over at Boldly & Co., they are a productivity company. So they study employee productivity. And they found that 30% of the day is wasted because people are not clear on who owns what and what they are actually supposed to be working on. 30% of the day, because people aren't clear. It's wild. So really it comes down to, if you don't have clarity, you don't have progress. If your team's not clear on where we're going, why, they're not going to be able to progress in the right direction. So that's on clarity. Now let's talk about making it compelling. Tell me, have you ever known what the direction is at the company, where you're going, why you're going there, but not been at all motivated to be a part of it? Diane, I see you nodding your head.
I was nodding my head. Yes, I have had many jobs where it was not compelling. And then I've had jobs that really was, and it was a big difference.
What was it like for you when it wasn't compelling?
I think I questioned my effort, like, kind of like, why bother, right?
Mhm.
Like, if, I don't know, it just, like, kind of felt like it was kind of spinning your wheels or working towards a goal that you weren't passionate about. It was just very demotivating.
Mhm. Who else? Who else has had an experience? Corinne?
I've had some where the vision's clear, the team is all working on the same thing, but like there's no goal or like something to achieve. So at the end of it, we're like, well, did we do it? Did we succeed? Or like, what was the point of all this and why? And then you're like less motivated for the next round or the next project.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Thank you all for sharing. So I love this quote. People don't want to join a company, even a company with a fancy mission statement. They want to join a crusade. They don't want to just do work. They want to do work that they're passionate about, that is compelling to them. And so when you are creating your vision and communicating your vision, it should answer these questions. Why? Why are we going there? If that's the mountain we're going towards, why? What's the impact we're going to make? Why should I care? What is in it for me? And so this is really where the why comes in, the purpose. So your purpose for why you want to achieve the vision is what makes it inspiring and motivating. People get connected to why something should happen, not just what should happen. So who here has read Go Dog Go? Not that many people. Do people know what Go Dog Go is? No? Okay. Well, it is a children's book. It is an amazing children's book. I read it like 7 times a night to my daughter. And reading it a few months ago, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a really good book about having and communicating a clear and compelling vision. So I'm going to read you a little bit of Go Dog Go. So this is at the end of the book. All these cars are driving towards this tree, okay? And all these cars are driving towards this tree. And so it says, now the cars stop. Now all the dogs get out. And now look where the dogs are going. To the tree, up the tree, up the tree, up they go to the top of the tree. Why? Will they work there? Will they play there? What is up there on top of that tree? A dog party, a big dog party. Big dogs, little dogs, red dogs, blue dogs, yellow dogs, green dogs, black dogs, and white dogs are all at a dog party. What a dog party. So if I am in a car with a dog and the dog says, we're going to drive to that tree, I'd be like, okay, like I like trees, but I don't know if I want to go to that tree. But if this dog told me, and you know what, when we get to that tree, there's a huge dog party. There is dogs of all different colors. They're all playing. They're all doing this cool stuff. I'd be like, yes, I want to go to that tree. I want to be a part of that party. Now, for some of you, you might not want to go to a dog party. You might hate the idea of a dog party. Maybe you hate dogs. Maybe you only like cats. And so if you were told, hey, we're going to go to this tree, and you're like, okay, I'll go to the tree. And then you get up there and it's a dog party, you're going to be like pissed. You're going to be like, I don't want to be a part of this dog party. This is not what I thought we were doing here. But if it was made clear to you in the car that like, hey, we're going to go to that tree, and the reason why is because there's a huge dog party, you could get out of the car. You could be like, you know what? I get it. I'm clear on where you're going and why you're going there, but that's not my vision. That doesn't align with what I want. So you could get out of the car. Dr. Seuss, or is it P.D. Eastman? P.D. Eastman, vision. So let's create a team vision for the year. We're going to do 2 different exercises to help you start to craft a team vision for the year. Before we do that, let me open the floor. How are people feeling? What questions are coming up for you? Or are you like, now she's starting to quote Go Dog Go, so she's totally lost it. Troy?
Yeah, I just question, how long do you feel a vision statement is good for? Do you review it every year? Is it good for 5 years? Do you do regular trainings on it? Like, can you give me some assessment on that?
Ooh, that's a great question. There's no one right answer. So I want to open it up to other people. What do you all think?
I mean, I'm not sure, I mean, I'm not sure on a standard cadence to do it, but I think it's a periodical check-in on it to make sure that the steps that you're taking that lead to that vision would be a good idea. I don't know what that time frame would be, if it's a year, 2 years or whatever, but to me, if you're not periodically coming back to that, then you yourself could stray off track pretty easily, I would imagine.
I
I
would
would.
think that anytime a new staff member would come on board, you should all get together and review that probably to make sure everyone's on board again, right?
Yeah, so we talk about the vision weekly. So as part of our Monday staff meeting, like we have 10 minutes that's committed to the vision. So we talk about the vision and then the team shares vision moments. So what's happened in the past week that like is evidence that we're on the right path, that like we are moving towards our vision. So it's something we talk about weekly. And you know, we're 5 years old as a company. So I mean, I don't know if it's perspective if we're new or old, but I do think that not forcing us to be like, we're going to have one vision statement and this is what it has to be forever. Like our vision has evolved, and the pandemic had a big hand in it evolving initially. And since then we've gotten clearer on what is the mountain we're actually driving towards. So our vision has shifted and evolved. So I don't know if there's one right answer that I can give you of like, this is how often you should be reassessing it, but it is something that we talk about weekly and it has evolved and gotten clearer for us.
Not to complicate this topic, but I think it depends on what kind of business you're in. And you're gonna have, I think you're gonna have short-term vision, long-term vision, and that's gonna always change based on economic impacts, right? I mean, John Mackey on this webinar as well. We work at the same company. We're a Culver's franchise group. So, 3 years ago we were full speed ahead on growth and building new restaurants. And now that, economic impacts have hit, and COVID obviously was a huge disruptor for us. And the cost of building a new restaurant is very expensive. Land is expensive. Our longer term vision is now a little blurry, right? So I think it all depends on the business you're in, or the nonprofit you work for, or what have you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I almost think that that's like, and I guess I'm interested in all of your perspectives, but like, I would like that about working at a company where it's like, we're looking at the vision, and sometimes it gets blurry and sometimes it gets clear. And we talk about it, as opposed to like, this is the vision, this is what it was in 1950, and this is what it will be forever. Like, I just feel like that's so, I don't know, that almost feels like fixed mindset to me versus growth mindset.
I agree. I didn't have anything to add to that. I mean, yeah, that's exactly it. It's either growth or you're either growing or you're not. And if you're not, if it's kind of set and just remains there stagnant, then you're not going to evolve. So I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
Hey, your threats and opportunities change over time, right? As Zach said, and the environment changes. So, if you're not nimble, if you can't adjust, then you become irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Okay, we're going to do 2 exercises to help us start to get clear on what is our team vision for the year. So I want you all to imagine, actually everyone get out a piece of paper. Do you have a piece of paper and pen out? Perfect. Okay. So it's the end of the year. It's the end of 2023. You're sitting around a table with your team. You're cheersing with your favorite drinks. Everyone is smiling. The energy is high. You say, "We did it, team. We did it." So reflect and write down, what did you do? What did your team do? What happened? What is different now that they've achieved this? You can think about this, what's different for the team, what's different for your company, what's different for customers, what's different for you personally, and what's important about this. Why should anyone care that your team did this? So take, just for time's sake, take 2 minutes. You can do this more in depth later. Take 2 minutes. And I would play music for you, but we learned that I'm not good at technology and apparently had to download a driver. So pure silence for 2 minutes while you write it down. Okay, I know that was super speedy. What came up for people? At the end of the year, you say, we did it, team, we did it. What did your team do?
I wrote down making a more proactive approach versus a reactive approach, creating some very needed peace.
So it feels more peaceful on your team.
I don't know if this is very visionary, Leah, but I said I survived the year. I'm still in business.
That's a great, yes, absolutely. Team, we're rocking and rolling. We're in business, especially for, you know, Diana entrepreneurs. That was mine and Dan's vision for the first 5 years. Can we keep doing this?
Years.
Who else wants to share? What did your team do?
For mine, I said that we hit our goal of, we have a number of leaders that we want to impact this year. And so we hit that goal. That's what was in my vision for our success.
Amazing. So this is a great, you know, give yourselves more time to do this visualization, but this is a great one to do with your team as well. So you can learn what your team's visions for the year are and see where is their alignment. Or maybe it's like, ooh, we are all on different directions of what we think success looks like this year and what the vision is. So this is a great team activity to do as well. Okay, who knows what this is? My team can't answer because they know what this is. What is this? This is Southwest Airlines vision. This was how the company got started. The two co-founders sat in a bar and wrote on a cocktail napkin, wouldn't it be great if there was an airline that could go between these three places? This is their vision. I think they still have this napkin like framed somewhere at Southwest Airlines. So for this activity, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I got a speedy one. but I want you to draw a square on your paper and I want you to draw your vision for the year. If you had to draw it on a cocktail napkin, what would your vision be? 2 minutes. Okay, who wants to share their cocktail napkin?
Do it.
Yeah.
I'm in marketing. I'm not this kind of marketer, but, so I have it, 3 different points. So we're in the restaurant business, as Zach said. So basically for us, it's really about the guest at the end of the day, right? You can't have the best guest experience. Nothing else matters, right? You can't have so sales go up or down based off of that. So in our standpoint, the vision comes down between really having a stronger communication system, better processes, all around expertise in the field to be able to better support the restaurants, and then simultaneously with the office. So that way, that kind of trifecta of support, if we solidify those 3 points, then it will trickle down to the guest experience.
Nice. Love that. Corinne, did you raise your hand? Did you want to go?
Yes, I was waving to the mailman, but I'm happy to go. My picture, little scrap paper, so, but I can describe it. So it's a Venn diagram scenario with many circles. So all the departments are a circle and we're all overlapping, and it's lots of collaboration. We're communicating, we're working together. And then there's like a sun, which is the company. And we're just all swirling around it. And because we're working so well together, we're just hurling through the universe, succeeding and drawing new people in.
Love it. Amazing. How about one more? Who wants to share there? Yeah, Troy.
So you had said draw a square on your paper, and some was thinking very literal. The motto in our office is we are not big on collaboration, and we are told stay in your lane. And so my only thing this year is drawing the box and to think outside of the box instead of my own lane.
Love it. So what did you tell me about your experience of doing this cocktail napkin exercise?
Me?
Anyone?
No, I almost cried.
Did you?
I hate staying in my lane. I like collaboration.
Absolutely. Anyone else on your experience with this?
So Leah, I'll go. At the beginning of the year, me and my best friend always pick out 3 words that's like our words of the year, and we take them very seriously. They're like our, our New Year's resolutions. And I'm kind of finding that like what I want in my personal life is also what I want in my business. And I was very focused on connectivity and like that network effect in my life, connectivity for my clients, connectivity for me, things like that. So that was surprising. Or maybe not, I don't know.
That's awesome. So I love this exercise because a lot of the leaders that I work with, they struggle with this because we're so used to like, they're like, oh yeah, I can answer the questions, but like to visually draw it. But we as humans, we connect so much more to imagery and pictures. Like we can get it so much quicker than like reading a huge paragraph. And also people learn differently. So it's a really good idea to have like, this is the vision, this is where we're going and why, but then also be able to visually represent it for people. Because then also you can like look at the picture and be like, I'm in. So I think that I just love this exercise. And it's really interesting because people will do this with their teams and then they'll like go to their offices and they have like, the pictures that they came up with. And it's very cool. I love it. Okay. So step 1, create a clear and compelling vision. And I know we speeded through that, but you'll be able to take a workbook home with you today and you can do this deeper in your own time and then also with your team. So let's talk about some tips for communicating the vision. So once you have your vision, clearly state it. This is where we're going. This is why we're going there. But the tip I want to focus on today is on curiosity. So clarity of vision is co-owned. Just because you communicate the vision to somebody and you think that you said it so clearly and so perfectly, it doesn't matter if they don't understand it. So you need to ask questions to ensure that your team is clear on the vision, on where we're going and why. Just my clicker. So let me tell you a little story again about my daughter, Betty. I wonder if Betty knows how much content she gives me for these things. So Dan was taking Betty to Bloom, which is an amazing bakery on Monroe Street. And he said, ask mama what she wants for brunch. And so I said, Betty, can you get me a sweet potato donut and a biscuit sandwich? I was very hungry this day. So I said a sweet potato donut and a biscuit sandwich. And she's like, got it. And she walks away. And I said, hey, Betty, could you just, I want to make sure I communicated that clearly. Could you just repeat back to me what I said? And she said, yep. You want a potato, a carrot, and a sandwich. And I was like, sweet potato, donut, and a biscuit sandwich. Like, she tried her best. She tried her best to listen clearly to what my vision is, but it was not, clearly there was something missing in there. So communication is not complete when you have just said it to the other person or when you've drawn it on a cocktail napkin. Communication is complete when the other person has understood you and their behaviors are in alignment with the desired result. And I love this quote. The single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place. So when you communicate your vision, get curious, ask questions, make sure that they have understood and have made sense of where we're going and why. So you can say, will you repeat back to me what I said? And I always like to caveat this with like, I want to make sure that I've communicated this properly. I do this with my team all the time. I was like, can you repeat back to me what you just heard me say? Because I don't know if I actually made sense in what I said. So asking somebody to repeat back to you what you said is not a bad thing, but I would caveat it with, I just want to make sure I communicated that clearly. You can ask, what is super clear about this vision? What could be clearer? You could ask, what's most important about this vision for you? What will stand in our way of achieving the vision? You could also ask somebody, how would you describe the vision in your own words? This is one of the reasons why we talk about the vision weekly at the Perk, and it's not just me talking about the vision. Other members of my team will take turns explaining what the vision is from their perspective. And again, we all share vision moments. So that's important for me as the ultimate leader of the organization, that it's a way for me to understand, okay, I have clearly communicated the vision. Okay, we're all aligned in owning this. A tip for communicating your vision is talk about your vision in a way that signals that the other person is coming with you. So this is a way to build belonging on your team. It's kind of like if you were in a relationship when you were like, I don't know, when I was dating a guy in college, and he'd be like, one day when we get married and have kids, and I'm like, oh man, we have a future together. Like I am in this. But if he was like, you know, next year when I go to, I don't know, Australia, and like, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but I'd be like, oh, okay, like, there's no future with this person. Like, they've signaled to me that like, we are not going to be together a year from now. So I'm not going to put a lot of time, energy, and effort into this relationship. So when you communicate your vision to somebody or to your team, indicate that they're coming with you. Next year, when we've totally crushed this project, what will be different for us? That person knows, okay, my leader, they envision that I am going to be a part of this team a year from now. Now I feel more connected. Now I feel more aligned. Now I feel like I belong. So a couple of tips too on a lot of times when companies or teams are coming up with their vision for the year, and the vision has evolved, it has changed. And so the vision now requires your team to do things differently. So when your vision requires change, ultimately, change is hard. Humans, we don't love change. And if there's no compelling reason to change, we won't do it. Why would we do it? It's a lot of work to change. If there's no compelling reason, we're not going to do it. So you need to paint a very clear picture for your people, explaining the reason why you can't stay where you're currently at, why we need to change. And so I like to lean into curiosity with teams and not just tell them this is why we need to change, but have them be a part of the process. So you can say, sure, we can keep doing exactly what we're doing now and stay where we're at. We can do that. And if we choose to do that, what will our customers miss out on? What will our team miss out on? What will our company miss out on? What will you personally miss out on if nothing changes? So involving people in that discussion is a really great way to get people more motivated to actually change. Questions? Questions on
I'm actually are you going to share this deck? Because there's a couple slides on here, honestly, that I'm actually going to go through that exercise with some of my team.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. You are welcome. You weren't taking screenshots fast enough? I'm just kidding.
Honestly, I don't multitask well, so I was just listening and I didn't. Did
you know that only 2% of people can actually multitask?
I've been telling that to my 11-year-old like daily. It is. I'm not going to take up the call on that. It's so frustrating. She keeps telling me I can multitask really good, Dad. I'm like, don't you even start. You don't know the science.
You don't know the science. Zach, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, John's a tremendous kiss ass. That's all I was going to say. He can't multitask. He was just listening intently, Leah. Yeah.
I love it. So good. Any other questions on communicating the vision or thoughts? Okay. Let's talk about connecting your team to the vision. So kind of, Diana, like what you were talking about earlier, like when something's just not compelling to you and like you don't feel personally connected to it, like you're just, I don't know. I don't want to say you're disengaged or not working really hard because I'm sure you were, but it's just different. So when you're personally connected to the vision of the team or of the company, it gives you purpose in your work. It increases your motivation, engagement, passion, and your sense of belonging on the team. So how do you do that? How do you connect your team to the vision? Well, that requires that you are able to answer these questions with your vision. What is in it for them? What's in it for your teammates? How does their work tie to the vision? Why should they care about the vision? And in order for you to really be able to answer these questions, you have to know your people. You have to get to know them. You have to know what is their vision for their life and their career. What do they personally want? Where do they personally want to go? How will working towards this vision help them achieve their personal goals, their professional goals? You need to know, what do they value? What motivates them? Oh, Troy, you raised your hand.
Leah, this is so key because you can have a presenter, like you're an amazing presenter. We all love you, you know that, but you involve us. And if you are presenting and just talk over everybody, like this is going to be our vision, this is what we got to do, nobody's going to buy into it. Nobody's going to be excited about it. And so I love getting to know your people and just involving them in every step of the process, because it is only going to be more successful by doing that step.
Mhm.
You know, I was just gonna, can I add to that too quickly?
Yeah.
I think what struck me about this slide is we focus a lot of this, we focus on this a lot with new people when we interview them, right? But we don't really talk to people who've been in our company for 5 or 10 years or 15 years, and are they still motivated by the same things they were 2 years ago? So that's what struck me about this slide.
I think that that's a really good point, because it's kind of like we talked about earlier, where like company visions evolve, people's personal visions of their life and what they want evolve as well. So I'm assuming for those people, like things have changed since they started the company 15 years ago.
Yeah, Zach, it's really funny. It's like when people get new cell phones and like they give the new customers like the better deals. You know, like sometimes like the legacy employees are like the last to know about like a change, but the new ones are like whatever deck they're going through. Like a legacy employee be like, I didn't even know we were doing that. Is that a thing? Like,
Mhm. Love the cell phone thing. That's funny. So a tip to get to know your people and connect them to the vision is don't do all the work yourself. Don't try to figure out the answers for yourself. Get curious with them. Ask them questions. What personally excites you about this vision? In what ways does working towards this vision align with your own personal and professional goals? Hear it from them. What will excite you to get out of bed every day to work towards this vision? And in what ways does your work directly contribute to achieving this vision? I'm sure my teammates are annoyed at me by how many times I ask these kinds of questions, but I really like to know, like, when they're working on something, like, what's exciting about this work for you? How does what you're working on how does this project, how does this align with your personal and professional goals? Like, I can make assumptions and think I know the answer, but I like to get curious and hear it from them. And they've yet to be like, this is the worst. It has no alignment with what I want to do personally and professionally. But maybe they're just lying to me. So, okay, we're almost to the end. So I want you to focus on making vision part of your team culture. And again, like kind of like what Dan was talking about, the cell phone thing. It's not that we talk about vision during the interviews and at onboarding, and then we never talk about it again. Make it part of your culture. So make it common practice to communicate the vision, to ask questions to ensure your team is clear on the vision. You can make it part of your practice that your team knows when they're working on something. One of the questions you're going to ask is like, okay, and tell me again, big picture, how does this all align to our vision? And have them answer it. You should get in the practice of asking, what's the vision? Where are we going and why? When you're not clear on the vision for a project or for the year or for the team. And then also set, communicate, and hold clear expectations. Once we know where we're going and why, let's set expectations and make sure we're getting there in the way that we want to get there. And that's where culture comes in, but we're not talking about culture today. Okay. You did it. You made it through the vision masterclass. Just so you all know, and we only did 3 of the steps today. This is usually a 4-hour workshop when we go through all the 4 steps. So you should feel very good about yourselves that you were able to just crush through and retain all of this in like 35 minutes. I would be a terrible coach if I let you all leave here today without making a commitment for action, because ultimately that's what coaching is. We can have these big conversations, we can learn some new things, but then ultimately we need to take our learning and put it into action to positively change our lives, our leadership, our culture, our teams, our businesses, all that good stuff. So I want you to write down on your paper, what is one thing you are taking from today that you are going to put into action in the next 30 days? What's one commitment you're going to make?
Leah, can we annotate on your page?
Yes. How fun. Steph, do you want to explain if anyone wants to annotate?
Yes. So if you go up to the top of your screen, view options, you hit there, there's a drop down box, and then you'll see annotate about 3/4 down. You hit annotate, then it'll give you a different kind of top area that you can choose, like mouse, text, draw. You just want to choose text, and then you can go ahead and type on the screen on Leah's slide, and then just click away when you're done, and then it'll show up for everybody on the screen.
So Troy said, look within to challenge myself. Diana, actually assess and write down my vision. Yes. Write it down, make a picture, make a visual. What else? And if people want to call it out, they can too. Make our owners do the cocktail napkin exercise. Yep. Things change. Does anyone want to say theirs out loud? Steph, what's yours?
Oh, Leah, I knew you were gonna make me say mine out loud. Mine is to actually, I'm so terrible at the cocktail napkin piece every single time. Like literally, I was Googling on my other screen, like, how can I draw this thing? And so I'm going to commit to actually putting some effort into this cocktail napkin and getting something drawn out, because I always end up with a blank square on my paper every time we do it. So committing to getting something actually on my square.
Love it. Other people said face my fears, check in about a big task to make sure it is still a priority and aligns to the vision. Love that one. Again, that's that co-ownership, right? Co-owning clarity, co-owning, making sure that the stuff I'm working on is aligned to the vision. Remind vision. Yeah. Go for it.
I cut you off. I'm so sorry. I was going to say, since I don't have a team yet, I've been thinking a lot about like, how do I co-own my vision with my clients? Like, how do I get them to kind of adapt a mindset of a vision that I have for a partnership with a company? So I think like putting that into words and then running this assessment against like how I'm essentially selling my services, because I'm very tactical at this point. And I think there's a lot more vision to be shared.
100%. And it's not even just with clients, but also with vendors. Like I'll share my vision with, contractors that we have, because I want to make sure that what they want to do aligns with where I want to go and why I want to go there, and so it's an easy way for them to like get bought in and aligned too.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we clear the screen? My amazing team. Woohoo! Look at that. Okay, so John, you asked earlier, yes, you can get a copy of today's slide deck and also a Vision Framework digital workbook. So it has all these activities in it, plus some other ones. So it's a really good way to use that with your team. So if you, John, I already have you marked down that you want a copy of the slide deck. So if anyone else wants a copy plus the digital workbook, just either email me or you can just make a note in the chat and I can make sure maybe Steph or Dan or Emily, you guys can get if people put it in the chat. But and that's it. You all are amazing. You totally crushed it today. And so I think we have, I know that some people have to leave at 9:30, but we technically have until 9:45, right, team? So I'll open it up now for questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, celebrations.
I just want to say thank you. This was I actually came in kind of raw with it. Zach just invited me, so I jumped in, and I'm very happy I came to this. This was a great learning experience. So thank you for bringing me along.
Thanks for coming. Zach, was that him sucking up again?
Ha!
I tell you, 20 minutes ago, this study's.
You gotta keep it going. I just like it. Just love by 1,000 cuts, right? That's what they say.
And you'll continue to enjoy it though. It feels kind of like a group of really, really good friends that get together and just learn together and love learning together. It's an amazing group.
Thanks, Troy.
So I'll say that Leah and I are going out of town next week in a small team. Like Leah is really the engine that keeps this thing going. But she's communicated the vision so well that like Steph and Emily are gonna be able to make decisions like without us, and right decisions and good decisions for the company. Because like they're very clear on like where we're going. Like Leah has like full faith that they'll be able to do that. So is this, whether you're a small company or you just have a small team and a big company, like being able to rely on your people and like they know what to do, like without you like looking over their shoulder, correcting them, is like really important to Leah and I, because we don't have heartburn about like walking away for a couple of minutes, because like your team could either do nothing or they could go really far in the wrong direction.
Dan, that's a really serious comment. Like that is everyone's dream of having a company with loyal energized, amazing employees. And I'm sure they have tons of confetti they can throw while you guys are gone too. So that's kind of a funny thing, but seriously, that's a really, yeah, Emily and Steph, good job.
Yeah, and I will say it's not because I'm so great at communicating a vision. Like it has been, I mean, Emily, happy 2 years. Emily's been with us 2 years now. Steph, it's almost 4 years. And again, we have co-created and our vision and gotten aligned, and we're always getting curious with each other and asking questions and making sure what we're doing is still aligned to the vision we want. So
Leah, I have a question on the co-creation aspect.
Yeah.
I spend way too much time and energy thinking about, what having a first employee would look like. But say I go through this exercise, I create this vision, this person comes on board. How much, since you're trying to co-create this, how much is dictated and how much is changed because of those individuals that are joining teams? Like, does the vision shift with each person, or should the vision be solid to guide people together? I guess it's like, what's the percentage? Give me a formula.
okay, so it's 17%.
Correct numbers. Okay, thank you. No.
What do other people think? Should you have, so what I'm hearing, Diane, is like, if I have this like rock solid vision, if I'm bringing people on, like how malleable is it? Like how much can it change with other people coming in?
Well, yeah, or like the influence, right? Like we acknowledge that each person entering a company changes the culture a little bit, right? So like, does it or does it not change the vision? Because like you want to be adaptable to people's ideas, right? Like that's why you hire them, is to like bring them in and let them, explore their own version of the business practice. So that's something I'm thinking a lot about through the presentation. It's like, how much is dictated to people and how much is co-created and changed over time.
Dictated, it's like, that word strikes like, or it's like, this is what the vision is, like, this is where I want to go and why and all this stuff. Like, what do you think? Like, do you want to come on this ride with me? And like, honestly, as we've added employees, as we've added contractors, our vision's gotten bigger. Like, because now we have new energy and ideas, like Steph and Emily and Dan, they're all bringing like new energy and ideas. It's like, so where my vision was here when I started the company, like now it's expanding. And so it's fun.
So yes, and
yes, and from my experience, I don't know how others.
Yeah,
Susan,
I was going to say, Diane. Oh, go ahead, Susan.
I was going to say, it's your company, so it's got to be your vision, and you're inviting people, exactly what Leah said, to get in the bus. If you're thinking good to great, where you're getting people in the bus, making sure they're in the right seat, but you're all going the same way. How you achieve it is where the new members' ideas come in, because right now you can only do it your way, but they're going to bring another level of energy, creativity, and skill set to the team overall. And like Leah said, you just go up from there. But it always has to be your vision, and you're going to find people that align with that vision and then create. So it will shift somewhat over time, but it won't change radically, because you can't lose control of your own business.
very true.
Steph, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just thinking about like, because like I was the Perks first employee, right? And our
You were.
vision was very, like, I guess the vision wasn't very different. Like our why has kind of always stayed the same. I guess it's like how we do it, and our vision has like tweaked and changed throughout time. And I guess like from my experience, it was never that like Leah dictated the vision. It's that like she initially created it, like she holds it, and like she can see really where it's going, and she's the one who's like really pushing us forward and keeping us all aligned in it. But every time that we bring in a new person, it's not that the vision changes, it's just like that we're all now we're all working together, and we don't expect Leah to have all the answers just because it's her vision, right? It's like all of our vision. So I think your question of like, do I need to have, like, hiring my first employee, like how much of my vision do I need to have? I think it needs to be clear, and like clear enough for someone to want to like join you and like hop on with you. but not enough like where you need to make, you don't need to have all of the answers, right? Like you can figure that out together. So I think that's kind of, we've gotten more clear on our vision, I think, as our team has grown. And that's just from having everybody kind of in it and helping us get there. So not that you need to have like all of the answers with your vision right away.
Maybe it's just saying, Leah, you inspire the vision to keep growing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing on, I love when I learned the tip of like, signal that the relationship's going to continue, that they're part of the future. It's a way to create belonging. So when it was Emily's 2-year anniversary, I put a GIF of like an 85-year-old woman, and I was like, Emily, still kicking it at the park. Like, honestly, we talk about that. Like, we are going to raise all of our children through this company. Like we talk about that. That's a vision of the perk, is that we are a longevity company. We're not working for acquisition or anything like that. Like, we want to be around forever, and I'm going to make these people hang out with me until I'm 80 years old. Sorry, you have to do that. All right. Any final thoughts or celebrations or visions before we before we not debrief, before we
You're gonna say deplane?
Embark. Leah, I just want to say thank you. This is really timely for our organization, for John and myself in particular. And a lot of really good things came out of this for me today. So thank you.
Great. Awesome. So glad you guys could come. Amazing. Well, you're all awesome. Oh, Dan, were you going to say something?
No, it's my wave.
Oh,
So I'm trying something new, see if it sticks.
Don't give
All
up yet. Don't give up.
Yeah,
It takes
tough
practice.
crowd. Yeah,
Try it again. Try it
right?
again.
They say every day for 14 days or 21 days is habit.
yeah.
Obviously, I don't have habits because I don't know if it's 14 or 21.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was 23 or times or something. But
I don't know.
I don't have them either.
John, you were multitasking when you learned that.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
awesome. All right. Well, you all have a great day. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Feel free to email me, and we'll get those workbooks sent out in the slide deck.
And sign up for next month with Diana too.
Woo! Burnout to balance. Yes. Okay.
Thanks,
We'll see you all
everybody.
next month.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.